This is the Andres Segovia Show.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome one and welcome all. I don't anticipate many of you are going to be tuning in as I go live, but I'm streaming nonetheless. It's a little bit of a late announcement to do a live stream, but I'm streaming anyway. Yes, I am wearing Unplugged Phone merch, as you can see. They made a believer out of me, so it was only respectable that I would get a shirt from theirs. And besides, I'm going to be doing some responding to some of your questions that popped up on across the socials and video platforms, namely YouTube and Rumble. So I'm going to respond to as many as I can, including I saw some coming through as I was getting ready to go live. So whether you're on the fence to get this or whether you already gotten it, I've seen some people talk about having difficulties in returning a case. I will respond to that because I had a similar thing happen to me with respect to my order in which I ordered the shirt. So I think I can relate to very many of you about that. But before I get started with anything else, welcome to everyone, especially to those of you that are new around here. I'm Andres Segovia. I'm in Southern California. I am a real estate broker. I am also a small business owner and operator. Technically an independent contractor in another field, and I also handle property management. So technically 3 different industries that are interdependent on one another. So construction, property management, and the sales sides of things, whether you're buying or selling or trading and anything like that with real estate, mostly residential. So dealing with that in Southern California it's a tall order if you really know what it's like to have to deal with all these different ordinances from local municipalities, how counties sometimes usurp control of private properties, or how the state can quite literally take your property away for XYZ reasons, as was proven 4 years ago when the virus of unknown origins happened. So what I do on my show is, yes, I do talk tech. Yes, I do talk real estate. Initially, the show was started as a way for me to promote my real estate business. And I'm sure a lot of you were like, I haven't seen you promote your business. Exactly. There was a point in time during my podcast when I rebooted it, because I did do this before as a newsletter, that I was having a hard time ignoring the issues that were affecting my clientele, whether they were first-time home buyers, whether they were sellers, whether they were tenants looking for long-term either tenancy or eventually graduate to be a property owner themselves. The laws that were coming from Sacramento to the county, even incorporated or unincorporated areas of cities, in particular Los Angeles, then it was really affecting the ability for me to service my clients well enough. So I had to cover certain things. And every election cycle, like this year, there's always going to be some kind of proposition or ballot or something or local measure that's either going to tax the hell out of us or is going to put more restrictions on rent, which some of you that are renting would be like, well, yeah, rent's too damn high. And when you actually see that these programs have been in place, they're called rent stabilization ordinances or rent control for short. And it's more than just that, by the way. They've been around for decades. And in the case of Los Angeles, San Francisco, Santa Monica, San Diego, places where this has been around for decades, why is the rent still the highest in the nation and with the highest rates of homelessness if it was meant to keep prices low and homeless rates low? So if it's not working, why do we need more of it? It's like, oh, and people try to talk their way out of that one. You can't gaslight your way out of this one. So just letting you know that's the kind of stuff that I cover, and I will be covering a lot more of it here on the show as we're heading into the election cycle because we are in election season. And some of you will probably not in California or not in the area that I service. We're probably wondering why would that even matter to you? Well, for those of you that are fans of Razor Fist, I am, and I got his book along with George Alexandropoulos. They just released Ghost of the Badlands. Go check it out. Great book. I got the monochrome. I read it the first night it arrived. It was awesome. But anyway, the he made a post recently about the effects of the California policies that were affecting every single other state. Because there's a saying that we have here in California at the local level, it's where San Francisco goes, so does California. And where California goes, so does the rest of the nation. So even if that might not be your cup of tea or you don't think it affects you, California has affected you one way or another. So just letting you know, I wouldn't be one to just dismiss it. Just like those of you that already know how to de-Google your device might be like, I don't care about the unplugged phone, whatever it means and all that stuff. I have some questions that I'll be responding to with respects to that in this episode. So there's something for everyone, and for others, they're just closed off to all of it. But I say, hey, keep an open mind on certain issues. And in case of California, a lot of the stuff that's happened here has already happened in your local places. And I thought the insurance crisis here in California was bad. And then I saw the same thing, or in certain areas worse, happen in Florida. Man, I spoke with some of my friends that literally just moved there that are talking about moving out of there. I'm like, dude, I thought Florida was the land of the free. Well, apparently it's very expensive now. Hmm. Anyway, that's my little intro there, just to give you a little idea about me and all that stuff. I didn't even pull this up. I should. This is for those of you that are unawares. This is my website. So let me pull that up right now. I wasn't even planning on doing it, but might as well. It's my show. All right, this one and share. Let me make that a little bigger for y'all. I had the wrong template pulled up. This is the one I wanted. There we go. So this is my website, www.theandrewsegova.com. This is where you can learn anything and everything about me, all the stations that I'm on, anything. And obviously, I've been covering a lot of the unplugged phones. So this is kind of like the wrap up to all of it because, well, I'll tell you how I ended up getting the phone in the first place. For those of you that are new around here, a lot more of you have been tuning in to the video in which I ask, what is the unplugged phone, which I recorded back in March. And then others of you have been finding me because I unboxed the phone. But most of you have not seen the review. So I recommend you check that out for my take on all that. But anyway, I'm across so many different stations. You can find my stations here on the podcast. I'm like 40, 50 different podcast distributors, not to mention video platforms. I'm across maybe about a dozen. I'm trying to make myself uncancelable. Okay. I'm also on Substack, where I put some of my blog posts there. But social media, well, that's always a topic for a lot of people. So in the case of the socials, might as well just pull that one up. I'm across just about everything in existence because you never know where you're going to end up. And I do have a clip that if you haven't seen it, for those of you on YouTube, I posted it up today. Some of you might have seen it before. And I started to repost it because the question was, does big tech keep your data when you're gone? And I might play that for you a little later today if Spectrum doesn't give me issues, which it looks like it is right now, or just didn't pull up. No, it's not refreshing. Look at that. Here we go again. That video in which I did the, what was it? Was it the unboxing? Might have been the unboxing. Yeah, it was the unboxing. I did a live stream where I dropped first look at my unboxing video before I just uploaded it as its own clip. And as I was streaming the clip, which was very early on, just to give you the first look. Spectrum craps out on me so bad. It's like, dude, this is like freaking dial up, and I'm streaming as it goes. And while the video was going, I'm trying to trying to fix the back end, which of course I couldn't because it's Spectrum. So then when I came to, it's like, well, depending on where you're streaming is from, it might not look all that bad. But yeah, people were complaining. It's like, dude, I get better video quality from DVD from like 15 years ago or whatever it is. It's like, dude, it wasn't me, it was Spectrum. So I had to take it down and eventually just re-upload on the clip. So the socials, it uploaded. Yeah, okay, so good. I'm gonna keep an eye on Spectrum, dude. Seriously, I even tested the network before coming on board here. So I'm not on Facebook. Facebook is there, but you click it, it'll pull up a blog post as to why I eliminated it. But yeah, you could see I'm verified among almost all of these, or most of these, I should say. So look for my verified account across all of these. This is the new locals logo, which I really, really like. And if you're not familiar with locals, you should be. I'm going to be spending a lot more time there, and it's home to a lot more of my what do you call it, a lot more of my exclusive content. I just launched the latest episode of the Soundtrack Corner, so I do a bunch of other content exclusively only here. Almost, I would say 90% of it is free, and I'll be doing some more live streams here as well. Speaking of live streams, I didn't blur my background on purpose this time because I'm doing it for my home gym. I'm testing this setup for my home gym because I intend to be streaming workouts to locals as soon as I get back on the up and up on all that. So I'm looking forward to that. So let me just remove this now and just get to it. Now I don't have the screen to share, and I don't think I'll be able to share it because I'm going to be getting to the questions here in a moment. So I'm going to be doing it from my phone. But for those of you that are watching, because there's a few of you, this is going out to those of you on LinkedIn, YouTube, Rumble, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Twitch. So that's going to quite a few places all at once. I noticed that I'm using StreamYard, okay? And I recommend you check out StreamYard, but I'm supposed to be streaming in full HD. But I noticed every time I try streaming to more than 3 different platforms, I tend to have some streaming issues. So if you're chiming in the comments, even if I can't see it, because I can't respond to the comments on Rumble through StreamYard, so I have another display here just for Rumble, so I can see people chiming in through there. Um, and let me know what the stream is looking like because it looks like it's back to strength, but I did see some drop bars a little earlier with the meter, so just wanted to check that out. Let me take a sip of water. I don't have coffee in my goat mug, the goat farm mug, because I drank it before I came on the air. But for those of you that are unawares, these are a couple of my affiliates. One of them being the Goat Farm Natural Skincare Products. I actually dropped a segment of an interview that I did with the Goat Farm, and that I tell my story as to why I ended up going natural with my skincare products because I suffer from a long time with eczema. So it really made a big difference after my wife bought me a competing product, and then I found a smaller business. I like supporting small businesses, just like I like supporting small businesses that roast excellent coffee. So Ranger Candy Coffee Company. I'm a brand ambassador, and they are my coffee of choice for my office because I don't have a choice. I manage it, and they love it anyway. And from my home. So anything and everything about that should be in the links description down below. And if depending on what you're looking at, just an affiliate link for the Goat Farm for Ranger Candy. You can use my promo code D_Segovia at checkout, and you get free shipping. And maybe later, because you can't see it here in the background, I have TRX hanging there. TRX is coming very handy during my injuries, where I still worked out, but not with the heavy weights that you see behind me, but with being able to use body weight. So and it helps really with decompress the spine. So I recommend TRX. I also have a promo code there. I think it's TRX Andres 15, something like that. It's down below. You can check it out. Anyway, that's that. Alrighty, so I pulled up my phone because there have been people chiming in today, mostly on YouTube, and I did notice that Tucker Carlson dropped his interview with Eric Prince. Eric Prince is the co-founder of Unplugged, and when I saw that, my alerts go up. It's like, oh snap! I might as well just post up my link to my review there, and some of you did check that out. So thank you very much, and you chimed in with the comments. So I try to respond to some of you. I couldn't respond to all of you, and I will do that on this stream. So, Eric, I didn't tune into the interview because I couldn't. But I'm assuming they talked about the phone. And sure enough, when I checked back on the comments to see who's responded to me, I saw other people saying, I'm not going to buy this guy's phone. So it's like, oh, good. So I figured someone was going to say that. And I guess let me tell you, let me a little bit behind the scenes for those of you that are unfamiliar with me. Um, I did have an exclusive partnership for a month with Rumble, so I am a Rumble partner, but no longer exclusively with Rumble, and that's a good thing for me because I have a very complicated relationship with YouTube, and the mass takedown of videos of demonetization videos that they did back in January is unforgivable. But it's nothing new; it's par for the course. But hey, they called me a YouTube partner. They wanted me to be partner with them. And I couldn't monetize any of the over 1 million views I got on my channel on YouTube. Dude, what the heck? And in 1 month on Rumble, I was able to get more revenue through the ad streams there in 1 month. I'm talking literally 30 days than in about 9 years on YouTube. Man, that's huge. And that's considering that most of my videos, they couldn't, the ones that got the biggest traction, I couldn't monetize them. So complicated relationship, but I'm still there because I have the biggest audience. And as soon as I started dropping stuff about the unplugged phone, because hey, I had questions about it. I'm sure you did too, and you still do. And that's why I'm like, what the heck is this thing? And I've seen this before in the form of Freedom Phone, making promises, having all these talking points. And I called out the Freedom Phone as soon as I saw thing drop across all this conservative media, right wing outlet stuff. I'm like, the flip? It's like this thing just came out of nowhere and it was announced, and it really didn't come out of nowhere. I have an entire playlist for those of you on YouTube. There's a playlist where I just talk about the Freedom Phone, so you can check the entire chronological order of me covering that device. I even invited Eric Finman he was the founder of Freedom Phone to come on the show to be able to talk about certain things that he making claims about. He was calling it the greatest phone in the world, the best phone in the world, things like that. I'm like, the heck? And it's all on video. It's not like anybody can say it didn't. Hey, you can gas that all you want. The videos are up. And I was able to get a couple of conservative outlets to take their ads down within 24 hours. Others kept it up unless it was an agreement that they made, but they left a promotional post up in certain cases. But I had to call some of them out. Like, hey, look, if you're not questioning this, you should be. And Parlor was one of them that kept pushing. And I love Parlor. And eventually Parlor 2.0 went on down the wayside. Parlor 3.0 is back, by the way. Follow me at the underscore of Parlor. But in the case of George Farmer, who was CEO of Parlor, he was pushing it through Parlor. And then we had Candace Owens pushing it on the more public side. She was doing a live stream. She had the phone in her hand. She never used it. Back in the day when you're tweeting, on at the bottom of the tweet, it would say sent from this. And most of the time, or almost all the time, on Candace's part, it said sent from iOS. I'm like, that's not a Freedom Phone. Freedom Phone was based on Android, supposedly. And I called her out on it. We had a little back and forth. I even posted that video up when we had a back and forth. But at the end, I was right. So it was a scam. And it's unfortunate that people fell for it. People thought that I was somehow customer support for Freedom Phone. So people were reaching out to me, in some cases trying to DM me. And like, I'm not going to accept your DMs, but you can post publicly elsewhere. And they did. And like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Everything that I said that thing was at the onset was, and my concerns came to fruition, unfortunately. But yeah, well, that's that, I suppose. So towards the end of my Rumble partnership is when I was about to end my uh the exclusive partnership with Rumble. And when they actually lifted the embargo, it says, hey, as of the 28th day, you don't have to do anymore for the next 2 days. But if you do, awesome. But you're not obligated anymore. You met the obligation for the program. It's like, oh, that's awesome. I'll still do a couple more. One of the last ones was I was minding my own business, but every Wednesday up until back then, James O'Keefe, someone I'm connected with, would drop an expose, and I knew that by Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, he was going to do his live spaces after dropping his expose. So he drops his expose, and he goes live at the same time. I'm like, James, you just dropped your expose. I can't tune in to talk about it if you are just putting it up. So I tuned in instead. I tuned the live spaces out and I tuned into the expose. And I can't even tell you what that expose was about because he had an ad drop on it. And the ad drop was about this, the unplugged phone. And when I saw that, I'm like, hold on, what is this? And I was at work. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a break early. So I'm my own boss, so that actually helped. So I just did like, you know what? I'm gonna fire up my computer microphone at the moment and my camera and microphone, and I'm gonna live react to this thing and capture it and put it on Rumble. And I did. So I was just analyzing the whole thing, and as soon as the Rumble partnership we it met its end where I just have to be exclusively there. I edited it down and put it everywhere else, which includes YouTube. So I reached out to the company 'cause I said, "Hey, I'm gonna reach out to them. Who knows if they'll respond to me?" Little old me, right? But I felt like I was the only one asking these questions, but it felt a little different than how I was approached with the Freedom Phone. I felt like, okay, maybe someone here saw what happened with the Freedom Phone fiasco and is taking steps to learn from that. But I hope they're not repeating the same mistakes. And well, I reached out to the company, and then I get contacted by the CEO. So I'm like, well, that was surprising because at first I'm like, CEO of Unplugged. I just thought that was like someone spamming me. It's like, no, wait, this is the CEO of Unplugged, Ryan Patterson, someone that I interviewed. It's on across the platforms. You can check that out. I asked him the hard questions after the 1 hour mark. For those of you that are wondering, I even clipped some of that out. I think I clipped actually most of it out. The hard questions. The video is called "Is Unplugged the Honeypot?" So you can check that out. And some of you had those same questions, and I'll let you be the judge as to how Ryan Patterson responds to any of that. But when he reached out to me, he told me, "Hey, Eric Prince saw your video. He saw my video." I was like, yeah. And Eric Prince not only saw your video, he sent it to everybody at the company and said, "You guys have to sit down and watch this video." So he saw my video and told you guys to just stop what you're doing and check out my video. And it's like, yeah, like cool. It's like, yeah. And to hear a summary of what Ryan said about the video and his review and how they were very grateful for, in this case, the constructive criticism. Um, you can actually see that towards the tail end of my interview with him, where they ended up revamping the entire website as a response to my video. Like, wow, cool. And because of the connection I was able to get with Unplugged through that, they told me, look, we can send you the phone if you want to test it for yourself. Like, I'd be happy to test it. And I'm committed to doing at least 2 videos on it. But I will not run my review by you guys. And I hope that if I have any questions, you can respond to them. And they did. They were very gracious. I got my phone with less than 48 hours after Ryan and I talked. I'm like, whoa, that was really quick. And I had to stop production on everything that I was doing because, like, you know what? This is the talk of the town right now among certain circles, and they're the target audience and demographic for this. And some of them are asking me what I know about it because they're chiming in on my what is this? What is the unplugged phone video? So like I owe it to everybody that's asked and is looking into this and checking out my video to provide answers. So that's why I did an unboxing video to show them that hey, look, I do have the phone. I will be putting it through its paces. That's why I unboxed it. And then eventually, I didn't want to rush it, but I wanted to get the review out before the phone started shipping because thanks to Ryan, I knew when they were going to ship it. So, like, okay, I have my own self imposed deadline to meet. I pushed it a couple of days out, but it was still before they started shipping. And I wanted to get all my questions in because I knew they were going to be coming. And I had other things. I clipped out some other stuff and then started doing some other videos because as I was reviewing the device, and this is why I appreciate the comments that come in because someone that was eagle-eyed said that could be this type of phone, a techno mobile device. And I'm like, I'm so glad you brought that up during my review period because I'm sure this is going to be a big deal if this is just a phone that was bought off some, third-party OEM company in which they slap a label on the back and call it their own. That's what happened with the Freedom Phone. That was an Inumidi G. It wasn't even the A90 Pro, whatever the heck that thing was. Nope, XDA developers got the wrong one, and even Mr. Who's the Boss labeled the wrong one. I reported to all of them, guys. We all got it wrong. It was not that phone. It was even cheaper than that phone. So I'm like, I hope that doesn't repeat itself here. And it didn't. I was, and Ryan was very responsive to that. And I put his statement up on that video where I questioned, is this that? And it's not. And I could say that with a high amount of confidence that it's not. So there has been a lot about this device already that I've covered. Many people have asked questions. I try to respond to as many as possible individually. And it has been quite the experience. And now that the review is out in the wild and done, I basically I think I'm the only one that's reviewed it. So yay me. Exclusive looks at everything. I even gave you the first looks at the cases. This is the case that I'm using, the nylon, the ballistic nylon. I like this one. The good look and feel, a little bit of a felt interior. So I do like that. It doesn't add that much heft to the device, but it does feel protected. But whenever I get the chance, especially when I'm at home, I'm not using it with a case. But it's not a bad thing to do when using with a case. So yeah. But anyway, that's really the backstory to all of this, and I like to stay in touch with some of them, and that's why I ended up texting Ryan, the CEO. I'm like, hey, you guys made a believer out of me. Everything that you guys did to get public confidence in a way, because they knew, hey, Eric Prince is a controversial guy. Look at the comments on Rumble for Tucker Carlson's interview with Eric Prince today that I go live. Oh my goodness, I would say 95% of that is they're just attacking Eric and Tucker. Like, why are you giving this guy airtime and things like that? I'm like, snap. Good thing I was like the second comment there because this is wild. So it's like, hey, I reviewed the phone. You guys can check it out if you want to or not. And then in the case of Twitter, it was a little bit more even, or X. It was a little more even there. But it really is. How do I say it? It's been an interesting thing. That's why I posted that at the very end of my review. It's like some of I said at the beginning as a thesis, and then at the very end that some of you have already made up your mind about the device. And I told them, hey guys, the way you guys approach things, the way you guys are inviting people, like, hey, we dare you to break into our apps, and if you tell us how you did it, we'll pay you. Well, first we'll pay you that you did it, and then we'll pay you some more if you tell us how you did it, so they can patch it. That is always a good sign. Another good sign is when they're inviting you to take a look at the code. They're putting what they can as open source, as much as everything. But of course, there's always going to be some level of, well, there's something that you cannot see for the code if it's proprietary to them, because that would be like KFC giving up their recipe. So at least they're inviting cybersecurity experts as skeptics to their research and development offices so they can take a look at the code themselves. And they're not hiding from anybody. They're inviting people to go. And if that doesn't help build trust with you, I don't know what else will. Because how many of you can access the algorithmic codes of Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus? Or how about Google's algorithm? I was doing some research for a video that's going up, and I couldn't find any articles based on some of the resources that I knew at the time. Like, where did this stuff go? Before Google Play Protect was a thing. I don't know how many of you guys know this. Google Play Protect is actively scanning your Android device for malicious apps. Maybe you siloed something and then it'll be scanning for. This is not the antivirus stuff. This is Google scanning your phone actively for, maybe you siloed an app, or maybe an app that made it through the gateway that is Google Play Store. They can remove the app from your phone. But that is a permission that you kind of gave them if you say, hey, do you want Google Play Protect to scan your device? Remember, this is not antivirus. This is just Google doing it. But that's because years before that, there was an incident where there was a malicious app that got through the Play Store. And Google, many people, including me, even though I didn't have the app, it said we removed a malicious app from your device. And when I saw that note go up, and this was, I would venture to say, almost a decade ago, it was like, the flip? You can do that? That was shocking. And I think that most of you, if you were around then, you will remember that. But that really scared me to the level of control that Google was having over phones. And that's why Android itself is a beauty, because in of it itself, it's an open source software. So you have more control over your security, over your data, as much as you want, able to really. And but remember, at the end of the day, you're still identifying yourself some way, somehow. So don't think that you're gonna be incognito the whole time either. I would think it's stupid to think that this is like a spy phone, because it's not. But at least when it comes to data leaching, you have way more control than not. Let me check something. Hold on. All right. I don't know how those of you on Rumble are seeing the feed, but I am hoping that It's coming through just fine. I know I have that set to auto, but I hope it's streaming fine because on my side it looks like it's streaming okay. All right, so let me get to some of the questions that I couldn't respond to. This is actually one of the new ones that came in. I think someone on Rumble asked me the same thing earlier today. So here's one of the questions: do you get a new phone number with the unplugged phone? How does that work? And let me see the other ones. No, then it must have been Rumble where the other comments came in because the other question I think was Rumble. The question was, um, does unplugged also provide you with a SIM? And the answer to both is no. I think what people are confused about is that it's a dual SIM device. And what some people don't understand about that, and I did highlight that in the review. Just pretty impressive how you can use the same tray to put the SIM card and the memory card in it, but Samsung with a double size tray can't do that. I know it's by choice because they want to double up on you when you get more memory upgrades, including Apple, but they never allow for expandable memory anyway. No, what it means is, and I'm going to pull up these settings here so I can show you on the screen here. SIM card. The device will say SIM cards. Okay. And let me see SIM cards and network. All right, it's not going to pull up. All right. System developer, SIM processor. Is it here? Okay, here we go. Your phone will show that it has a slot 1 and a slot 2 for SIM cards. What it means is, even though you can only put one SIM card in here, the other one's electronically embedded. That means within the device, there's a serial number, an IMEI, in which you give to your carrier so they can then activate your device. For those of you that are, I believe it's iPhone, if not 13, at the very least 14. 14 and above, those are eSIM devices now, where it's electronically built in. You don't have to go to the store to get a SIM card here in the United States. I know that outside the United States, iPhone 14s are dual SIM. So they have the eSIM and they still have the SIM tray. In the case of iPhone 15, for example, that was an embedded SIM. That's what eSIM means. So I ended up activating it over the phone with Verizon and say, hey, this iPhone is eSIM. Here's the eSIM number, IMEI. And they activated on their end. And that was it. I didn't have to go pay a $25 or $35, whatever the heck it is, to get a SIM card activated and then put into the phone. So the question was, does Unplug provide those? No, they don't. But the phone itself has an eSIM in it, which, if you so want to, can use it with your carrier. I think that will also apply to Google. What is it called? Google Fi. Yeah, Google Fi, Google's wireless carrier thing. I don't know why you want to do that if you don't want to be tracked by them, but just let you know that you can. I know officially it is AT&T, T-Mobile, and Patriot Mobile because the service is provided by AT&T and T-Mobile. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it is the towers are AT&T and T-Mobile. It's just that Patriot Mobile can choose which one has better coverage in that region and hand off those towers. Whereas AT&T is just AT&T, T-Mobile is just T-Mobile. Just in case you didn't know how all that works. Mint Mobile, Simply Mobile, all of those guys are just like Patriot Mobile. They buy up, access to these towers, but they are at slower speeds than if you were using them on AT&T and T-Mobile directly. So just letting you know, that's how it works. And for those of you that missed it, I showed that I was using the unplugged phone on Verizon. So how did I do that on Verizon? If by all claims from Unplugged Phone, it is not currently provisioned or certified by Verizon. That's because I didn't take a new phone to Verizon and ask for a new line. I took an existing active SIM card and put it into the Unplugged Phone, and that was that. So I took it out of my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, put it in there, and that was that. I was texting, I was calling, I was using data on the go. I didn't use hotspot, so I can't speak to that, but I was able to SMS and MMS. That means picture messaging, and everything worked out just fine. So, will you get a new number, a phone number, when you get an unplugged phone? Again, no, because it's the SIM only. The service number is provided by your carrier. The advantage is that if you want to, because this is a dual SIM slot, phone number slot, SIM slot one, phone number SIM slot two, you can have an embedded SIM number, an embedded SIM with the one carrier, and you can have a SIM card from another carrier physically within your device, and you can use two phone numbers at the same time. And if you've never done that, when you're making a phone call, it'll ask you which phone number do you want to use to call out. So that's been my experience in using dual SIMs. I haven't used a dual SIM in a very long time, so this is probably the closest that I'll get to. But I'm not ditching Verizon, so I'm only using one number currently when I use it on this one. But that's when I hand off from my S24 Ultra. So, all right, other questions. Mostly are coming from YouTube. I try to go through the post on X, Twitter, but it got very messy. So, like, I'm not gonna find the questions you guys want answered in here. Someone mentioned, oh, this is an interesting one. I want to return this case, but customer service never wants to respond to me. Don't recommend at all. Now, I did respond to this user. This was today, about 11 hours ago from when I'm posting, when I'm going live. I had an issue with my order. This is me responding to them. I had an issue with my order. They responded within 24 hours and corrected it. Did you try by email, phone, or both? So when I ordered from Unplugged, I ordered both of their cases, and I'll show you everything that they have here because I think it's prudent to show you. And who knows, they might have some new stuff on their website. To the store. All right, let me get this back up in here. All right, let's do it like this. All right, so this is everything they have on their website that I bought. I was sent the phone, but I purchased the ballistic nylon case. I purchased the hybrid R. These are both from Itskins, and then the screen protector, and I got the Unplugged T-shirt. So they Unplugged didn't send me any of that. I bought it for my own money, and like I said, they made believers out of me. So like, hey, I'll support you guys. I'm rooting for you guys, and I'll explain a little bit about that a little later. But when it comes to the shirt, though, that's where there was a little bit of an issue because even though my order clearly says I ordered the large, and this is the large one, they had sent me an XXL. So I reached out to them immediately after I got it, because at first I'm like, how did I make that mistake? Because I looked at the box, and in the box, the packaging label said XXL shirt. I'm like, dude, I'm not that big. So I'm like, how did I make that mistake? I remember pressing L, and as soon as I checked, I'm like, no, it wasn't my fault because the original receipt, the original order shows that I did order a large, so it was an issue with the processing center. Somewhere something's got mixed up. So what I did is I ended up taking the well, I immediately responded to the emails. I wasn't entirely sure who to respond to anyway, but I responded to support. I think it was support@unplugged.com. And I'll confirm that email. You know what? Let me quickly find that email right now because I think some of you are going to want to know about this in case you run into any issues with your order. And it's a new company shipping out for the first time. Anything could happen. And it's a small business, and I know how these things can go. So let me find my sent emails right here. And all right, here it is. I emailed support@unplugged.com. And that's why the user, I don't know if you're watching this, but I did respond to you via comment. I didn't get a response to my comment because I don't know if you sent by email or if you called them and you haven't received the response. So I don't know how you reached out to them because in the packaging ticket, it says, go ahead and reply to the email that says do not reply. So I sent it to do-not-reply@unplugged.com and also to support@unplugged.com. And I said, I received my order today. The shirt item I ordered was size large as shown below the receipt, but I received an XXL size. How can I go about exchanging it? Thank you. And they responded within less than 24 hours. Not only did I get a response from one email, I got a response from both emails. So one of them, this is a shout out to Lisa, who was able to get this expedited, and also to Do Not Reply, that ended up replying and telling me that we're going to get this dealt with. And I believe it was Lisa. Was it Lisa? Was it the other person? I can't pull them up right now because I'm going live. So this is just me winging it. But they told me, hey, you can pass this on to somebody else that you think will enjoy the shirt. So who knows? I might do a giveaway on that. If you're an XXL, then chime in down below. It's like, hey, I'll take it off your hands. So just hey, seriously, if you're interested, you can let me know. I don't really know much of any XXL people, but you can chime in. Anyway, that's the. But I got my large shirt, so here it is. I'm wearing it, and I'm wearing it during this responding to your comments thing. Alrighty. So, which other questions did I need to respond to? Well, I did mention this in my review. The design is ugly. They just copied the iPhone. Why not be different? Shaking my head. It looks like a knockoff iPhone. Well, that was one of the cons that I put on my review. I'm not a fan of the iPhone back design. In fact, if anything, the iPhone 12 is the one that looks the best. iPhone 15 Pro is just, ugh. I'm sorry. The lens are protruding way too far. I don't like it. All righty. And hold on, I got a comment, and this is from YouTube. So YouTube is chiming in. Here we go. I just found your live stream while watching your first review. What make unplugged phone better than a punked phone or a de-Googled Pixel phone? Oh, this is the question. Okay, because I I purposely trimmed it out of my review because I wanted to do a follow up on a live stream, and this is that live stream. I was gonna save it for last, but you're asking. So this is the way it shows up here on Streamyard. It says WFKU. So WFKU. Once again, the question is, what makes UP or the unplugged phone better than a punked phone or a de-Googled Pixel phone? All right. So I'm actually gonna go to punked themselves, and because I'm respecting the confidentiality, I have the entire specs because Unplug sent it to me from what's the name? From their device. They're not all listed, but they're not entirely all pertinent either for um for the purpose of this comparison. So I don't think they're intentionally leaving anything out. But I did make mention that I kept mispronouncing it too. The chipset in the unplugged phone is a MediaTek Dimensity 1200. It was announced in January 2021. So that already sounds like a very old chip. And of course, because in tech speak, that's ancient history. And I called it out early on in my review. So I just pulled up Punk. You don't see it yet because I'm not sharing the screen yet, but I'm just pulling up the where I want to see the specs. That's the warranty. This is the purchase side. Hold on. Let me go back to the products. The Punked, I believe the item you're referring to is the Punked MC02. And this is their newest product, running Apostrophe OS. I've been following the development of Apostrophe ever since Crackberry Kevin Mikola, he first reported on it. I think it was at CES or something, and he became an investor into this because he really believes in it. And he was trying to revitalize crackberry.com, which he passed on to Derek Kessler, to be the editor in chief there. But eventually, Kevin just stopped writing altogether. He's like, I got to get on this thing. So I'm still looking for the specs page. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. Okay. It's going to look a little smaller on your end. So let me pull up. Oh, I'm getting more questions now. All right, folks. Thank you. Thanks. I'm going to get to your questions. Let me respond to this one first. And my allergies are kicking up. Just a moment. I hit the unmute button. All right, here we go. So this is the Punked MC02. This is running Apostrophe OS. And Apostrophe OS is based on Android. And just like the unplugged phone, you get a free trial of like, how do I say it? The the suite of apps that Punked is offering, which is email, VPN, and all that stuff, just like Unplugged. It's a subscription-based model, and the conversion rate is that they're using, I think is the Swiss francs. I think that's it. They're using Swiss francs, not euros, for the conversion rate. So technically speaking, the Punked suite of apps on an annual basis is more expensive to use than Unplugged. So apples to apples, including Clear OS, who's out there. And I spoke about the Freedom Phone earlier. If you go to freedomphone.com, that phone that initially was being sold as the Freedom Phone by Eric Finman, that product is no more, but you can still buy it somehow. How? Because Clear OS is selling their version of the Freedom Phone. So now Freedom Phone is like a storefront for Clear OS. I don't think this is a smart decision to do, but that's how Clear did it. So let me here we go. Oh, I just saw one of your comments coming in. I think you're from YouTube. I will get to it. You mentioned Rob Braxman. I will get to that. He's my guy. Okay. So we speak the same language here. I've been trying to get him on the show, but he's a little bit of a recluse when it comes to that. But okay. So the Punked device. Here we go. It seems to be about just as tall or a little less tall. But here's where I want to get to. It has an IPS display. It has a 1080 by 2400 resolution with a 60 hertz refresh rate. In comparison, the Unplugged phone has a 90 hertz refresh rate. It has the same resolution, but this is AMOLED. So AMOLED, for any of you that have seen an IPS display versus an AMOLED display, I'm always going to pick AMOLED. The one that has probably built the best IPS display that I have seen, I mean, outside of an iPad, would be Samsung. I do love the IPS display on the Samsung S7 tab, the Tab S7 that I do have. In fact, I'm using it here on the side. But when it comes to the new one, the S9, as soon as I heard it was AMOLED, I'm buying it. And when I put it next to each other, it is when you see it, you just know because of the depth of color, especially when it comes to blacks. Being able to see that contrast better than an IPS display. That doesn't mean you can't do it great. It's just it's AMOLED. So already this device has technically the same screen size. And let me bring myself up a little bigger so you can see the phone. Not so much bigger. All right, here we go. I'm reading off the thing, right? Not you. All right. So technically, this device is the same screen size, a 6.67 as the Punked. IPS display on the Punked. This one's AMOLED. I guess the same aspect ratio, the same resolution, 1080 by 2400 resolution. That basically means it's full HD. Sometimes full HD plus, but it's full HD. Refresh rate of 60 there. This one's 90. The PPI, I believe, is about the same though. And let me see. Anti-fingerprint coding. Yes, stereo speakers. This one also has stereo speakers. This one has a MediaTek Dimensity 900. This is a new phone that was just announced in January, and it's running a lesser chip than the one on the Unplugged phone. So far, the Unplugged phone is winning. And I believe they have the same RAM. Let me see if I can pull up. I don't think Unplugged posted these specs on their page. Unplugged phone. Where are your specs? Let's see. Technical specs. Okay. In terms of RAM, they're basically using very similar RAM. The Punked has 6 gigabytes. Unplugged has 8. And storage, built-in storage, by the way, 128 gigabyte storage for the Punked device. The Unplugged phone, I believe it's the same. Let me double check. Because they actually had 2 models in the works. One that had more onboard storage besides just expandable memory. But let me just confirm right now. Storage. 256. So this one has double the memory and expandable storage. Okay. And this one, the Punked has the universal file share 2.2. Unplugged has 3.1, I think. At least 3.0. Let me see. Where are you? I have to confirm that. I know it's at least 3. Okay. And I think it has a newer generation Bluetooth too. Let me see. Oh, camera. 64 megapixels with autofocus and a 2 megapixel fixed focus macro camera, 8 megapixel fixed focus wide angle for the rear cameras on the Punked. This one has a 108 megapixel main shooter along with I think, better wide angle and macro cameras than this one. This one has a 32 megapixel front facing camera, I think. Let me look at the cameras. The front is, yeah, 32 megapixels. The Punk has a 24 megapixels. The camera sensors on the Unplugged phone are made by Samsung, which is already another positive. So far, this phone technically is winning, but it's also $200 more than the Punk device. The Punk device starts at, it was 700. I think you have to click on buy. All right, let me hit order now. Um, Order now. Where's the price? I saw it earlier. There it is, 749 US dollars, with a 2-year warranty. Oh, that's pretty good there. And a 1-year free subscription to Apostrophe Services. 1 year. Look at this. They also offer a repair service. That's pretty good. And they provide a SIM. In the case of Claim Your Free Punk, you get a SIM card. Okay. Punk SIM card. Is that it? Okay. So Unplugged is at, let me share this one. Now I'm sharing here. Let me go to right here, $989. I believe is a little higher than when they initially announced it, and naturally so because of um, economics. So let me see. Let me make this a little bigger, guys. And I am going to get to the rest of your questions. I'm so glad you're chiming in, and I'm pulling up from the comments that been coming in over these past few days. I intended to only be live for a few more minutes, but instead, I will spend time to answer your questions. Okay, because you're making time for me, I'll make time for you. Thank you. All right, so $989. What's in the box? I already told you what's in the box, but yeah, they give you free express shipping. They come with a 1-year limited warranty. They don't say anything about a repair service. I don't know what that might be like. Um, let's see. Okay, and it does come with 1 year of their. Let's see if they say it here. All right, they don't say it here, but they're supposed to come with 1 year of their Unplugged suite of apps. Um, uh, I guess subscription. So very similar. But then the question becomes: is it $230 more, or $240 more of value than the Punked? Well, if you're on Verizon, Punk doesn't work on Verizon. That's the only reason I never asked Punk to send me their phone. They follow me on X, and we've exchanged a lot of comments. They feature one of my product reviews of their products on their social media channels, mostly Instagram. But I didn't ever ask them for this phone because I just won't be able to test it, and unless they're going to provide a SIM to test it on another carrier, I'm not going to just buy another SIM for the test. So I didn't do that. So the second part of the question was, because I just did a very more in-depth comparison for the Punk phone. What about a de-Googled Pixel phone? Well, it depends on which one you're after, because if your choices are basically limited to like a privacy-focused OS, okay, that would be Graphene OS, which you can tinker with to be able to get a sandbox version of Android Auto to work if that's really important to you, or if absolutely zero Google on it, it's Calyx OS. So if you're gonna buy it through a third-party carrier, I mean a third-party service that de-Googles devices, such as like someone brought up, like the Braxman. Braxman does have this Braxman phones where they put the Braxman OS. Okay, I don't know if that's what it's called, but I know it's his own privacy-focused OS. But he also sells of de-Google devices running Calyx OS, and you can even pay for the service where you can send your compatible device to them, and they'll de-Google it for you and send it back. So that's Rob Braxman. He's take his stuff as gospel. Okay, he's pretty much like the tech John the Baptist out there. So when it comes to anything he talks about, like, I yield to him. So he has his own phone. I believe they were sold out for a time. I think they got another round of it. But if you're gonna get a de-Googled Pixel, I don't have it here, but I had two de-Googled Pixels. One of them, the Pixel Fold, the other one, the Pixel 4. I have Calyx OS on the Pixel 4. I had Graphene OS on the Pixel Fold, but I returned since to stock Android because I'm beta testing Android 15. And if you're interested in hearing about the Android 15, I can do a video about that because I am liking it. Um, hey, tech can help you. Just know what you're giving it in exchange for the convenience. Anyway, when I think about it is you still lose computational photography. It doesn't matter what you do with the Google devices. There are some XDA developers out there that have ported over the Google camera or the Pixel camera that is. They have ported over the voice recorder, which can record and transcribe your messages. But I don't think they've updated since quite a while either. But there's different projects to port the Pixel camera over because if you love the hardware, if you want the peace of mind to be able to have an actual water resistant device, then yes, the Pixel devices will definitely be a go to. The problem I have with the Pixel devices is historically they have terrible hardware reliability. That's been my main issue. I love the Pixel 4, not the XL. The XL was built by LG. Issues with the screen. It's awful, even though it's the better looking of the two. But the HTC built Pixel 4, which is the last one that the HTC built for Google. That one was the most reliable, despite the fact that I had some Bluetooth issues with it too. That was a hardware issue, not a software issue. And Google, no matter how much software updates they pushed out, there were always some issues there. So I thought, heck, I'm sure Google learned by now. And it's in my review, folks. If you go to my review, because at the very end, when I'm making the case for why Unplugged exists and why I'm glad they exist and why it's important for them to succeed in this space, is because we need an original equipment manufacturer that people can get behind and support because they believe in the product, they believe in the mission, they believe in the values, but also deliver end-to-end product and service to the people. That's been the problem with Google. Every time there's a problem, well, maybe they'll fix it for the next one. Maybe they'll fix it for the next one. I did an entire video about the Pixel Fold issues that I have, including, this is the worst part, that it erased itself entirely. Oh, that's awful. I'm going to make myself bigger again. I could get in the rant there. So if you're going to go for a Google device, just know if you're going for one of the newer ones, let me take this off for now. If you're going to go for one of the newer ones, you're going to eliminate your warranty to do so when you unlock the bootloader. So you just lost your warranty. Yes, you can always get it back to stock Android, but if you brick it, you just really threw away all that money. So just letting you know, you got to know what you're doing when you do this. And you can always trust a third party to do it, but just know that you're going to get a used Pixel when you do that because there won't be a new one. You got to get it to Google yourself, Google it yourself, buy by warranty, and well, try your luck there. So that's what I'd say about that. All right, let me. And I don't trust Google hardware. And remember, their new Tensor chips, they're building all their AI tracking into the hardware. So you can strip Google from the surface level on the software side, but now they're embedded in the hardware as of the Google Tensor Chip 2, the G2. So just letting you know. All right, next question. Hi, Andre. I have a question. Unrelated. Could you review the new M4 iPad Pro and the new 13-inch M2 iPad Air for people like me that may want to buy one? You could buy it from. Was your comment cut off? Well, the quick answer is I would love to. It's just that this is something that I would have to buy it for my own money. And early on, when I was doing my tech channel, before I refocused it as the Andrew Segovia Show, it's called the Tech Corner. I was mostly covering Blackberries. So I come from the security focused OS world because that's what I loved. I used a BlackBerry for 10 years. And for the longest time, I carried two devices and still do to this day. Right now, I'm carrying an S24 Ultra and a 15 Pro. And you better believe I actually use every single feature that's in these devices. I don't just get them and go, oh, it's the latest and greatest. No, I burn my devices out. And if they can't, the only ones that have been able to keep up with me have been the Samsung products as of late. So I don't always go for latest and greatest. I want longevity from these manufacturers with these expensive flagship phones. But what I don't like about Samsung is that I missed the memo when buying an unlocked Samsung. Now you cannot root them. You can't unlock the bootloader. Like, when did this happen? So I missed that memo. I learned an expensive lesson there. But not that I want to. I use Dex. I use the S Pen. I use everything Samsung throws at this thing. I use all that stuff because it makes what I do convenient for what I do with documentation, with construction and real estate. So it's worked out well for me. But I was accused very early on in my career of taking advantage of the Amazon return window, that I would buy a product just test it for the clicks on YouTube, and then return it and get my money back. I only did that once with a device that I was very disappointed in. And I was accused of doing that. It's like, hey, I bought that thing so I could use it. It didn't work for me. I returned it and I reported to you. That was it. There were other tech YouTubers that were doing that very thing. Some of them which I respected until I saw that. I'm like, you're saying it gleefully. Heartbreak. I liked you. And I unfollowed them because of that. I don't do that. And yes, I have been offered devices to test, but I've only ever done so twice. One was for an activity tracker. And I did review that. And I told the companies that, hey, look, I have no need for that activity tracker because it's a software thing that just goes on your phone. I use wearables. That's how I get my stuff done. But they were very confident in their product. And I said, well, I don't think it's for me, but I wouldn't mind testing it. I just will not commit to a positive review if I don't like it. And I'm not going to let you see the review either. And they said, that's fair game. And they ended up getting a positive review. They were, and we went our separate ways. They didn't pay me for it. They just offered me the software, and that was that. They said, thank you so much. Great review, and this and that. So only twice has that ever happened. Once, that long ago, I don't remember, maybe 5-6 years ago, whatever that was. Second time, Unplugged Phone. The only 2 times that's ever happened in my 9 years on YouTube and doing anything tech. So I would like to do that for Apple, but they're not offering me the stuff. But if you want to check them out, I would say check out Dave 2D. Dave 2D just dropped a summary, I think a day or two ago. A really great summary of these 2 things because he was skeptical of this device. And now he's like, dude, that's crazy. But seriously, why so much horsepower for it? So I hope I answered your question there. All right. Next one up says, Andres, do you think the Unplugged company will release a version 2 and take your content and improve on the next versions? That's from Daniel B. The person previously asked me was NCR 417. So Daniel B. I would love to. That's why I say I'm glad that they exist. We need a original equipment manufacturer. And if people do believe in the mission, and I think the biggest barrier to entry for this device is the founder, Eric Prince. I don't have anything against him, but if you go look at James O'Keefe's interview with him, or today's Tucker Carlson's on Rumble, whether it's on X or Rumble, if you see the comments, people berating Eric and even lashing out at James, lashing out at Tucker, these are supposedly their fans, lashing out at them because, like, how dare you have Eric Prince? I'm like, damn, he's such a polarizing figure to a lot of you. All I could say is this. I have no bad word to say about Eric Prince. If anything, he only ever been nice to me. And I say that because he saw my video where I asked the question, what is the Unplugged Phone? And he sent it to everybody at the company. I told him, sit down and watch Andres' video. He didn't communicate with me. He didn't contact me. And here's a little more inside baseball. He wanted to come on my show. I didn't know that. I found that out later. But the CEO came on my show just in case this was not going to be like a gotcha interview kind of thing. But Eric was willing to test it. And he said, we have to be on Andres' show. And because of my take on the device, they revamped their entire website. You can tune into the interview with Ryan Patterson at the tail end of that interview. He tells my audience, says, within the next 2 days after the review drops, we're updating our entire website because of Andres' feedback. So to your question, Daniel, I sure hope so. Based on everything that I evaluated on this, I believe in their mission. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. I voluntarily bought the shirt. I bought the cases. I bought an extra screen protector because I intend to take this thing off. I ended up buying what's the other thing? I think that's it. 2 cases, the screen protector, and the shirt. Yes. So I ended up buying it from my own money. And I'm currently weighing, you know what? Does it make sense to get rid of ExpressVPN? I got ExpressVPN to help another influencer that I really respect. It's like, hey, if I use that product and I use your promo code, you'll get something beneficial out of it. And I really have enjoyed using ExpressVPN. There were others out there, and but now that I have Unplugged VPN, which uses many more open source VPNs. I am testing that, and I'm wondering, what does it make sense to use this instead because it offers an even more robust features. It's not just the VPN service. There's antivirus if you still want it. And I don't really care, but there it is. The Messenger. I actually like the Messenger. The Messenger app. I've only been able to use it with my wife. I've enjoyed it because it feels very much like a Discord app, but for communicating. Um, I want to use it more. That's for sure. And I think it's important. And while it doesn't ask directly for an identifier, that's what I like about it. I reminisce of BlackBerry Messenger days from that enterprise version. So when more people adopt it, I think it'll get better. But this is great. If it can only succeed if we believe in the mission, because I'll tell you straight up, there is no money in hardware. They are really banking on you using the Unplugged Phone suite of apps experience. That's why it's available to your Android. You don't have to get the Unplugged Phone to get the unplugged features. The hardware isn't the highlight, it's the software. That's where the money will come from. That's where the subscription will come from. And some people ask, why do I got to pay for subscription? Well, like the aforementioned questions about Punked. The Punked app services are an annual subscription. And guess what? For those of us that love using the AI assistant features from Galaxy AI on our Samsung devices, they're only free for the first year. After that, you got to pay for it. That's the stupidest thing, Samsung, but I also understand. It's not about hardware. That's what they're saying. We'll support the hardware for 5 years. Yeah, but do we have a right to repair this thing? Or are you going to do what Apple did and make it even harder to repair these devices? Because then what's the point? I'm just going to buy the latest and greatest if I break it. So I hope that answers your question. It really is on the public acceptance of this product and whether they support it with their capital. This is from Get Knit. I think I said that right. I'll take that XXL off your hands. Well, hey, yeah, I don't know if you're across the social media. You're the first one to raise your hand about this. I'm willing to send it to you if you're that serious. Communicate with me through Instagram at the Andres Segovia or on X_Andres Segovia. Find me there, and I'll have to confirm that it is you, and we'll take it from there. We'll see where it goes. All right, Javon Sims, you're the one that brought it up. I'd buy one of Rob Braxman's Google Pixel phones, bro. I noticed, and here's a follow-up comment actually. I noticed budget brands loved Helio G99, Dimensity 900, and 6100 plus chips. Yeah, that has been the knock. Someone said it on, I believe it was on it wasn't on my review video. More people have seen my initial video from back in March about what is the unplugged phone, where I question what it is, and then the unboxing video across everything. My interview with Ryan Patterson has been mostly viewed on X. I do hope more people can check it out because I think you'll get an idea of the team that Eric Prince assembled around him. And that was as soon as I saw who he was gathering up, it's like, this is interesting. And then when I found out, like, you guys are the ones running this thing, not Eric. He's surrounding himself with all this team so they can really take the lead on this. Dude, that's very savvy. So, like I said, they made a believer out of me because they're trying to do everything right. It's just winning the public confidence is the big deal. They're not out there trying to say we're better than an iPhone, we're better than a Google. And instead, they're saying we're not those guys. And in the Google space, it is a high price, but if you see ClearOS, one of the biggest established players in this space, ClearOS is even more expensive for what, in my opinion, are lesser specs. And I think Clear, I heard it, at least I understood it, it's more in the healthcare space too. So they were trying to crowdfund like a foldable and a really flagship spec device, but they couldn't meet the quota by the end of December last year. So those projects, as I understand them, are on hold or maybe canceled indefinitely. I haven't heard any other update beyond that. But when it comes to getting really flagship products, you're not going to really find it in this space. Some people talked about Linux devices. Yeah. And then you want to get in a built-in USA kind of thing as much as possible because the chipsets, you still got to get them from either Taiwan or some other place that builds these semiconductors. you're looking at a $2,000 phone and it doesn't even match with the performance of this device. I'm letting you know that thought and care did go into this device. It wasn't just strung together or picked off an assembly line. Um, my issues with the camera notwithstanding, the look of an iPhone, but I got to give kudos to it. So high marks, I give it on my review. You can check that out. It would be great to use as both dual SIMs for the. It would be great. We could use both dual SIMs for the unplugged phone. Yes, Daniel. I don't know if you were around when I talked about it, but yes, you can. And thank you, 007, for emphasizing this Brax OS. So Brax OS is Rob Braxman's privacy-focused OS, and hey, I'm not going to take anything away from him. Okay, if you want the standard, he's the standard. He has his own VPN. I think he has his own browser too. You guys can correct me on that one. So you want the whole 9 yards, you want to believe in something, um, go support Rob. You know, he's there. Like I said, he is the tech John the Baptist out there. Um, all right, so Rob Braxman there. Oh, about the dual SIM. I don't know if you were around when I mentioned it because yes, you have an embedded SIM and eSIM, and then you have a physical SIM, and yes, you can use two numbers on it. For those of you that asked if um, Unplug provides a SIM, no, they don't. And if they, that also means they don't provide the phone number. So no, they don't. Okay, let's see. This is from WFKU. Thank you for answering my question. You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And Daniel, once again, Andres, please keep us updated on Unplugged's progress and status. I intend to. I intend to. I almost feel like telling the CEOs that, hey, look, I'm kind of like your unofficial spokesperson out there, and I'm not doing this out of jest. Okay, um, I like helping people make informed decisions. That's what I do in real estate. You know how many bad reviews us real estate professionals get. So I remember sitting down with one of my sellers one time, and I had the entire stack of paperwork to go through. Okay, you got to read the fine print. You got to know what you're signing. Okay, and at the end of the day, when a transaction can look that fat with just documents, and every year there's more and more because of litigations of all sorts of updated forms because of God knows what happened previously. And right now, maybe you guys have heard about these big lawsuits with the National Association of Realtors out of Missouri, and now it's in appeals, and God knows what's going to happen. The Department of Justice is getting involved. It is bonkers what's happening in the industry, and doesn't matter where you are, you will be affected if you haven't been already. And why? Why? Because they're charging 6% commission. That is a guide. That's not a requirement. But hey, the court didn't see it that way. That's why people, I'm sure everybody that was there probably were wronged by some realtor or real estate agent at some point. Like, yeah, stick it to them. No, that's really what I felt like. So when I sat down with my seller and I had all these documents, and they're like, can we just skip to the part where I sign? And I said, no, because then you're going to accuse me of just getting your signature and not going over these documents with you. So then his wife said, just let him read the documents. And we went through every single page. And believe me, he had questions. It was very important that he looked through those things. So I'm one of those guys. I will sit down and go through the entire thing for my protection and yours. So I do the same when it comes to tech. That's kind of how I started all this stuff because I hated. Look, you guys have heard of MKBHD. I'm sure you guys have heard of Mr. Who's the Boss. But do you have any idea how pissed off I got at MKBHD when he gave a half-hearted attempt to review the BlackBerry Priv? That's when I decided to jump in. It's like, this guy is not giving it its due. First off, he's not the current target demographic for the device. Even he admitted it. Secondly, he got the specs wrong, shows how lazy he was to do it. And third, he's wrong. So that's when I decided to go even harder into this. And that's kind of my breakout in tech space a little bit. But it petered off a little bit because I had to get the devices, and these were the ones I was using on the daily, and I wasn't going to take advantage of the Amazon return window, so I didn't. Besides, I had to do my real estate stuff too. Daniel's chiming in again. I meant two physical SIMs and not an eSIM. As with eSIM, you are still locked in to be tracked. Well, yes, that's what you meant. Yes, it's really hard now to find a dual SIM device that is probably not one that's eSIM. I had a dual SIM device. It was a Samsung Galaxy Note 5 dual SIM. I had it imported from Taiwan, and it was beautiful. I lent it to my sister because she went to go study abroad in Spain, and it didn't take long for her to tell me I had an accident. Now I got to send this device, which is an Exynos chipset because it wasn't a Qualcomm, all the way to Taiwan to get repaired. And I never got it repaired, unfortunately. So yes, but using two SIMs would be very nice. And that's one thing. And I guess that's where I'm gonna kind of all wrap it up. But I did my part in representing Unplugged. So I'm my home gym. I'm supposed to work out after this. So thank you for joining me on this evening. Let me drink some water from the Goat Farm mug. Natural skincare products that I use on the daily because it does wonders for my skin. And when I'm drinking coffee, it's normally a Ranger Candy coffee product. And right now, I do not have a roast under my name. There's been two limited editions under my name, but the third one's in the works. But anyway, you can check out my affiliate links down below for the Goat Farm. It is an affiliate link for Ranger Candy. Go to rangercandycoffee.com. Use the promo code The Segovia at checkout and get free shipping on your order. You're supporting small businesses, both here and in the case of Ranger Candy, a veteran-owned small business. Remember, this is Military Appreciation Week, and support small business and you support the veteran ones. They need our help. They really do. And speaking of that, I will be dropping some throwback videos as lead up for Memorial Day and all that, because I've had interviews with some of you might have heard about Benghazi. And if you know about it, all you know is probably the politics of it. Well, I am friends with some of the guys now that almost all of them, actually, I know them, connected with them, but a couple of them I struck a kinship that were there that day. And they were one of the 6 guys that at least 40 Americans can say they're alive today because of the heroics of these men. And the left and the right do not understand it. And I cover Benghazi a lot. So if you see me talking about Benghazi, that's got nothing to do with real estate. That's got nothing to do with tech. I know, and I don't care. It means a lot to me because it means a lot to them. And to this day, we're paying the price for the ramifications for why we have a freaking open border and for why we're doing nothing about putting some of these terrorists on a watch list. So at the very least, they are caught trying to come into our country. They've already been caught crossing the border. Anyway, I could get sidetracked on that. I won't do that. But yeah. Hold on. 007 chimes in. Brax 2 phone has physical dual SIM. Of course, they are sold out, and Brax 3 scheduled to release. Yeah, and that's just it. I said it earlier. I don't know you were tuned in at that time, 007. That I thought that the Brax 2 phones were sold out as well. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you want to get a Brax phone, for someone that said it, was it you that said it that you can't afford it? Hold on, someone said it. No, it was is it Javon Sims? Yeah, he said it right here. I'd buy one of Rob Braxman's de-Googled Pixel phones, but I'm broke. Oh, de-Googled ones. I don't know if he has some of those that run Brax OS, but I can't tell you that if you want to get one of his phones, you literally have to be waiting for them to drop. Because I think everybody in that community talks. There's like 500,000 people in this community. Brax his social media site, not really a social media site, but more like a community. So these guys all talk, and I'm sure they're all waiting on the wings for this thing. So just letting you know, you want to get on it, in on it, you got to be like vigilant on it. But with respects to how this comes to be, I've given some feedback to Unplugged that was not in my review. Some of it you might actually piece together. I cover a little bit the first 5 things to do when you get your unplugged device. So there's a video about that. I don't think it's on Rumble though. I have to double check for those of you on Rumble. But if you are checking it out on YouTube, for sure, there's an entire playlist of every single video I have done on Unplugged Phone. You can track everything from my speculation to me asking the hard questions to me doing the tough diggings. Like, hey, is this a knockoff device? What the heck is this thing? No, I've asked everything about it, and they've been more than responsive whenever I made any questions. And these are directly to the CEO, by the way. It's not like I'm talking to some underling here. I'm talking to the head honcho here, and he talks to Eric. So This has been an incredible experience. It's an exclusive to do for my show. They even says like one of them even said it's like why Andres' show? He doesn't have the reach, and it was Eric that pushed him. Like, we got to be on the show, and I don't think they regret it because I've done my due diligence. I try to be responsive. I try to be your voice for those of you that asked me these questions. I routed it to them when I didn't have the answers, or if I wanted to learn more, I dug into this. Now I'm not Zach. I'm not gonna take this apart with a jerry rig everything kit and take it apart. No, I actually really appreciate this. In fact, my daughter is now um, 11, and I want to take away her iPhone that I recently gave her. And it's not active, but it doesn't matter. It still has access to internet when using a Wi-Fi, even though we have the parental protections on it. She doesn't use social media because she doesn't have any of that, and we won't let her, at least not for a while. I am concerned about all the tracking and stuff, and I'm so glad. This is one of the new updates that Unplugged did to their website when they relaunched it. And let me share this with you because I didn't talk about this, and I should have, but I saw it too late. Unplugged phone for families, a phone to make your family's digital space a fortress, not a storefront. And I'm like, dude, absolutely. Because that's why I was de-Googling devices in the first place. So then when my kids come of age, like, hey, you can use one of these. And I happen to have one in my hand. And I must say, I have not held a Pixel device that I actually enjoy holding in my hand since the Pixel 7 Pro. But I traded in my Pixel 7 Pro for the Pixel Fold. And I called the Pixel Fold one of the three worst tech mistakes that I made for 2023. It was a terrible buy, along with these Porsche design um, true wireless headphones that were just too beautiful to pass up and a disaster to use. So for those that have asked, I did talk about those. Thank you, 007. I enjoyed the videos and interview. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time there. Like I said, I try to be as thorough as possible with all this. I'm not even sure the CEO expected this much digging when some of the questions came out. I'm assuming all the stuff here is going to be like published. Only what's related to the review because I respect confidentiality. I haven't published the confidential stuff that they sent to me, and I'm going to respect that. But that's what's given me more confidence in what they're doing, their mission, why I'm glad they exist, and why if like Daniel asks, will they take the cons and improve from that? They can only improve from here. But we have yet to see though, because I don't think I mentioned this in my review. They're they're almost done with May. So that means they're not launching Android 14 in May. So, but they are working on the Android 14 update. And the schedules for those updates, they're trying to be on schedule with whatever the Android open source project is. So they want to keep up as much as possible and support it as much as that. The thing is, and here's the big one, because people don't know this. This is running a MediaTek chip. This is from Taiwan Semiconductor Company. Um, and manufacturers, I don't know why, they just throw the chip out there and then they don't really support it. That's why I'm like, hey, Unplugged, it's on you. We need to see you break ground for TSMU or TSMC, Taiwanese Semiconductor Company. I think I got it. I'm sorry. I'm blanking now, but there's a they were supposed to open the media tech chip developer. They're supposed to open their semiconductor company in Texas to build them here, and because of organized labor, they're not opening next month as they were expected to. So God knows if and when we might see this. Even the Taiwanese company sent people to teach the workers here how to do it, but again, organized labor basically ran out the people that are responsible for the chip. And then you have the Biden administration supposedly pouring money into building semiconductors, but all they want is DEI. So you think we're going to see American chips built here? We need a break-in for a competing chip here, and MediaTek has been out there. We're not going to see Karen because built by Huawei, but MediaTek, they can hold their own. But we don't have manufacturers building them because, hey, even Samsung gave up. Samsung built Exynos. Did you know Samsung builds the Google Tensor chip? Yeah. So if you don't trust Exynos, you're probably like me. You're not going to trust the temperature chip. Google still has not proven to me that they can build reliable hardware. I bought a lot of it, but I love the Pixel tablet. It's just the minimalism of the design. I just really love it. But anyway, I'm rambling here. And so this is an opportunity for MediaTek, at the very least, make some kind of entry here, a little more mainstream, if you will, because like the question posed, and I even brought this up in the interview, and a lot of people have chimed in on this. We don't need this phone. No, you don't. You can Google your device if you so want to. No one's stopping you. Why are you discouraging others that don't have the technical know-how and will want an alternative to this? I come from the days of the mobile OS wars, Symbian, WebOS, Windows Phone, BlackBerry OS, Legacy before it became BlackBerry 10, uh, and then multiple iterations of Windows Mobile, Windows Phone, and Windows Phone 8.1 and 10. We have a duopoly now of Android and Apple. We didn't want those because they didn't have the apps. And now, how do I get rid of these apps? You can't. They're embedded, they're leached into your device. Have you tried canceling your Meta account? Good luck. And you think that's everything? It's all metadata, folks. There's a clip that I played for one of my tech streams called "How You've Been Tracked by Metadata for the Longest Time." You don't need a smartphone to get your data. So long as you have a GPS on it, hey, they know where you are. So yeah, there's a lot there, but in terms of providing a device for family, like my kids or whatever, I think I found one in the form of the unplugged phone. This is the first device that I can say, not counting the Pixel 7 Pro, okay, that feels good in the hand, isn't heavy, it's big but it's not bulky, and the only reason it looks like the screen is lifted because this is, at the time I didn't know when I unboxed it, it's a tempered glass screen protector, and I've already scratched it. So I'm like, well, it's a good thing I was wearing it. So I have something that I look forward to when my kids come of age. It's like, hey, look, I hope these things are still around because I'd like to. Now, someone did ask me, can we uh can we put a custom ROM on this thing? It's like, well, I don't even think it's. I haven't seen anything that says it's rootable. Oh no, sorry, I wasn't. If we can build a custom ROM, I'll put a custom ROM on this. They were asking if we can put Google Play services on it, and in order to do that, you have to have a custom recovery on this thing. And I don't. In order to get custom recovery, you need root access, and to get root access, you need to unlock your bootloader. So I don't know if you can. It when I try accessing recovery, it gives me zero commands. So I don't know if you're able to even get a custom recovery installed on this thing. If you can't, then well, there's your answer. But I think I gone on long enough on this. If you're really curious about the OS experience, the best way I can describe the experience is for those of you that probably use Lineage OS. This is my HTC One M8 running Lineage OS, and I am running a stable version of. Let me tell you right here, system. Um, went to the wrong menu. Okay. I'm running Android 13. So this is Lineage OS version 20. It's unofficial because Lineage OS stopped supporting it, and they actually stopped supporting after 18 for just about everything else. But if you use Lineage OS, this is pretty much the same look and feel of Unplugged. But overall, they have tried to add their own touches to this, which I've shown on my review, and like theme it out. A couple of wallpapers built in, but I tried turning mine into a what's it called? The Xpanse terminal phones. So it looks like one of those see-through phones. And I love that this thing actually continues to read my fingerprint when my Samsung fails. So like, hey, look at that. That's pretty good. I haven't had a fingerprint scanner that's actually as good as the one that I've used here. So kudos to Unplug for another job well done there on paying attention to some of the specs there. So yeah, alrighty. Well, I went about 45 minutes longer than I thought I would. So thank you so very much for those of you that tuned in, especially this far. As I wrap up, I'm might as well tell you. For those of you that missed at the very beginning, where not only did I introduce myself, I introduced some of my other stuff. My other stuff, you can find anything I think about me at www.thinkersToGover.com. But locals is where the rest of the show lives. And I am intending to do another live stream if I can this Friday. It will be real estate themed, though, in the form of live reacting to the movie, The Big Short, because it's something right up my alley. There's actually a scene in The Big Short in which I lived myself, although I didn't run into that kind of animal, but I did run into something very similar to the experience if you see the first movie of Saw, where the photographer is in an apartment and the power goes out. So yeah. Oh wait, Daniel says my last message got skipped. Let me see. Oh, dude, I'm sorry, Daniel. Andres, can you please relay message to CEO of Unplugged to have a physical dual set? I'll let them know. It's like, hey, look, this is the feedback from the fans. Okay, so yeah, I'll pass that word along because I did offer some other things about the OS where I don't know if it was overlooked intentionally or if it was quite literally overlooked. So I'll bring this up and just maybe, who knows? What I do know is I think they were intending if this thing worked out very well, but I don't think you really need it because you can expand the memory with a SIM card. And I don't know if you can put a 1 terabyte SD card in here, but um, there was supposed to be one that had double the onboard storage. I don't think they really needed to do that though. And I think that's smart of them to not have to launch that as well. They have 256 gigabytes in here. Good starting point, expandable storage. I don't know to what extent it's water resistant, so just be careful there. And Daniel, I hope I got that last message. I don't think I missed anybody else's. Let's see. I have to keep you guys updated. Yeah, I think I got them all. All right, great. But yeah, so the other stuff, I do soundtrack stuff, but this live react to The Big Short is not available for YouTube. That's why I do stuff exclusively on Rumble. The stuff that's censored on Rumble, I mean on YouTube, is on Rumble. And furthermore, the exclusive stuff, especially direct access to me, is only on locals, and it's only going to be even more robust as the year goes on. This year, I think those of you that have been on locals that have supported me there and have engaged by any level that you can, thank you so very much. And it's been a journey. Someone posted very early on and said when I was covering the Unplugged Phone, they said, "I feel you should be getting more views." And I'm like, yeah, YouTube and I have a complicated relationship. And as soon as I was trying to cover certain things, and because of maybe some opinions that Instagram didn't like, then they started uh, censoring me again. So I'm like, okay, you make money off me being active on Instagram. So how about this? You're on timeout for a week. So when I put them on timeout, I normally just delete the app from my phones. I sign out from everything and clear the cookies and cache and all that stuff on my browsers. And it's just try to, I'm sure they can, but the point is, I'm not actively engaging on anything. So I'm putting them on timeout. And I did that last week because I got upset at Instagram again. And they've had one of my things pending review since August of last year. I'm like, what the hell? It's ridiculous. But yes, I have a complicated relationship with some of these big tech guys, but I'm still here. I'm still here until I'm no longer welcomed here. And all of you that have checked out the Unplugged stuff, that's why I do what I do. That's why I stayed here, even though I was exclusively on Rumble for a period of time. I dropped other material on YouTube when I couldn't put this other stuff over here. And now that the exclusivity window has lifted, I've been putting clips that were only on Rumble and brought them over to YouTube to and other places as well as X, and just to share them wherever I could because I want to be where the people are. That's from Little Mermaid. But yeah. So anyway, uh, being long in the tooth here, I was supposed to work out, uh, and I will. I just need to power up, and that's just another thing. I was testing out this setup for the first time because I intend to hopefully, when I'm more consistent, be able to do live workouts on locals, especially since locals recently lifted their cap on how many live streams I can do on a month. It used to be 5 at 30 minutes each. I'm like, that's too little. Now it's unlimited. Like, that's awesome. So I will be doing that. But anyway, I got long enough. Thank you so very much, everybody, for tuning into this live stream of the Andres Segovia show, and engaging with all of you is always fun. This is what I enjoy doing, folks. So this was going out to all those of you on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Rumble. And I appreciate all of you wherever you are that have been tuning in. The replay will be going to Kick, D Live, and others because I want you to see it as well. And this video should be up also on BitChute, Odyssey, Gangjin World within 24 hours. So thank you so very much. I have to go. Check out my stuff at www.andressegovia.com. One more time for those of you guys that didn't see it the first time. Here's the sharing of the screen. And you can learn anything and everything about me over here. I intend to do like a summary write-up of Unplugged for those of you to find it easier. But you can definitely find archives and resources over here. People that I've had on my show, the interviews, because I will be dropping more interviews, especially for those of you that missed out or that YouTube blocked or shadow banned. I'm sure they're okay with it now because they changed some rules. But as I'm lifting this up, I gotta, Laura, you're not seeing this, especially this late because you're out on the East Coast. But happy birthday to Laura Loomer. And if you have issues with that, too bad. She's my friend, and it's her birthday today. Still, so check it out. You guys can check out everybody that I interviewed here, including heroes from Benghazi, people from NTD News, Epoch Times, country music singers, other influencers, fitness coaches, and all that, business professionals. I've had them all, including some individuals from everyone from political office and local mayors here. But anyway, that's where I'll leave it. Thank you so very much. Follow me across the socials at the Andres Segovia, primarily Instagram, over on Twitter or X _ Andres Segovia. That's it. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.